mean, sometimes it's very complicated to actually work with one drop shipping supplier because then you actually risk a lot of things. If there is a problem with the product quality, then you really are really putting all your eggs in the same basket, which is why we advise our business clients to always diversify. So in today's conversation, I want to share with you how do you actually do drop shipping with many suppliers. Now, I'm not saying that you have to drop ship with 10,000 suppliers, but you want to have 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe maximum 10. Okay. So here is an overview I really want you to pay attention to as we're trying to really lay out the foundation of today's conversation. I want to first ask you, I want to first ask a generic question about what a drop shipping supplier really do, because we really need to have a clear understanding of what we're talking about. So if we're talking about drop shipping from multiple suppliers, it's important that we take a moment to understand precisely what a dropshipping supplier does, right? Now, dropshipping is a unique retail and product sourcing model. So unlike buying in bulk, let's say from a wholesaler, what will happen here is that the merchant does not have to worry about inventory in dropshipping. Now, I don't want to bore you with the dropshipping 101, but it's important to go back to the origin, so to speak. So instead, the dropshipping supplier is responsible for storing, packing, and shipping all products to the end customer. However, it's important to know that the term dropshipping supplier can be used interchangeably with the following other terms: dropshipper, distributor, wholesaler, wholesale distributor, dropshipping distributor, wholesale supplier. So you need to understand that when we talk about dropshipping, you need to build your dropshipping store or join an e-commerce platform such as let's say Amazon, for example, or eBay. You need to find a product or niche to dropship in your online store. You need to become a member of with a dropshipping supplier like let's say a Spocket. All right, you need to import your product via an app or product feeds. You need to create product listing. You need to actually do all those things. Now, it's important to understand that in all this equation, the dropshipping supplier is key because he or she is going to be the one shipping the product directly to your customers. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. We really appreciate having you here. It's really wonderful to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. And I want to talk to you quickly about what you should be looking for in a dropshipping supplier. You want to ask them questions about in-demand products, recognizable brands, new and emerging brands, competitive dropshipping rates, affordable wholesale prices. You want to have short lead times for all outgoing orders so consumers don't have to wait. You need to have quick and efficient packaging, including perishable and fragile orders. Okay, I'm talking about the whole 9 years. And they also need to have innovative and efficient tools to make you profitable, because a dropshipping supplier is your partner in this dropshipping game. So make sure that they are up to speed, they are up to standard when it comes to helping you. Now, let me quickly just answer the question that we asked in the original title here. Single suppliers versus multiple suppliers. Which do you choose? Okay, now it's all about your strategy. It's all about your business model. Okay, let me first kind of break it down for you. When are multiple suppliers necessary? Although every retailer will have to start with at least one supplier, sometimes, and I'm just saying sometimes here, it becomes necessary to dropship from multiple suppliers. This is when you really think about it, this is especially the case if you are trying to expand or scale your store up. Think about it. Sometimes you just need that extra coverage from another supplier or even multiple suppliers. Additionally, choosing to dropship from multiple suppliers becomes totally necessary for finding the best wholesale price. Remember, dropshipping is a very competitive business. You are competing with people, not just if you're based in the States, you are not having just a competitor just in the States. You're having folks who are sitting somewhere in the Tonga Islands, somewhere in Punta Cana, trying to play games with you. And it's fair game. So dropshipping from multiple suppliers become totally necessary for finding the best wholesale price, for keeping popular items in stock, okay, for actually offering more diverse products. Basically, you don't want to put all your eggs in the same proverbial baskets, okay? And you also very important, if you want to operate from multiple niches or within multiple niches, you need to have this diversity. If you always want to have a product that are available, then you have to diversify your sourcing, okay? And there are several advantages when it comes to multiple suppliers. when you have multiple suppliers, you can rapidly expand your e-commerce business and scale up. You can build a large customer base quickly. You can create an ultra stable supply chain of products. You can improve profit margins by choosing, let's say, the best wholesale prices. You never run out of stock. You are keeping your customers happy. You can operate within multiple niches and product categories, and you can order from a wider selection of products and brands. You have access, like you can access more tools and apps that suppliers may offer. You can diversify your options, and you may not be bound to a single supplier. Think about it, because if that single supplier start playing games with you, you are toast. Like, you are really at their mercy. So you don't want that. Don't put all your eggs in the same proverbial baskets, and you can generate cross-sell and upsell opportunities to grow your business. This is just fantastic. So when you think about multiple suppliers, multiple drop shipping suppliers, I want you to think about possibilities and opportunities, boss. So that's really for the advantages of having multiple suppliers. Now, like everything in life, nothing is all, dovey, whatever. There are drawbacks. So what are the disadvantages of having multiple suppliers? Well, you will face more complicated inventory management and tracking issues. You have higher startup and operational costs for more memberships. You have increased shipping costs if you pay separate fees for each channel. You have greater workload as you have to coordinate more communication and customer confusion when they receive multiple packages, because those packages are shipped from multiple sources. Okay. And now it's totally up to you to see what really works for you. It's really important to understand that when you drop ship from multiple suppliers, you are making your logistics more complex, but it greatly expands your opportunities and partnerships. Okay. But you have to really think about that. How do you manage it? How do you actually get things done? Now, it's really important for you to really ask yourself, are you going to do things are you going to basically find a way to coordinate things, or like get more, let's say, more resources, more human resources, for example, hire more people to kind of help you out? Or are you going to just keep things as they are right now? Now, how do you find all your dropshipping suppliers? Well, you have a lot of ways to do it. Do a Google search. You can consult a supplier directory. Okay. You have a lot of supplier directories. You have Wholesale Central. You have Wholesale USA. You have Inventory Source. You have Worldwide Brands. We actually reviewed all of those players in our shows. So you can just go, if you have a question, just let us know. We'll just send you the link, because we actually reviewed those players. And you can contact manufacturers directly too. So if you know that what brands or products you want to sell, then go straight to the source and ask the manufacturers for a list of approved suppliers. Okay. You can also use the Shopify marketplace. So if you are selling on Shopify, then go to the Shopify app store and click categories, finding products, distribute dropshipping, and or finding suppliers, and you have a long list there. And you can choose a supplier like Spocket, for example, that can help you actually get your Spocket or AliExpress or Salehu, Dropship. You have a lot of them. Now, the thing here is that when we talk about you drop shipping from multiple suppliers, another question that's really important as you try to establish your business is you're trying to drop ship from multiple suppliers. You're trying to really diversify your revenue source. Should all your suppliers offer emerging or established brands? Okay, it's something you need to think about. Now, it goes back to your strategy, because either way, you'll have to choose the brands to drop ship. Because branding is a critical part of e-commerce though, because this includes what? Developing your store brand and name brand products you want to sell. So if you want to establish, like, the question is, do you sell established brands or new brands? Recognizable name brand products will always be great when it comes to brand recognition. So there's the answer. You want to sell recognizable brands. That must be the best strategy, right? But not so fast, because when you think about it, there are some compelling reasons to choose newer brands. In fact, selling emerging brands means that you'll be avoiding market saturation, which is really great for your dropshipping business in the long run, at least. I mean, in the short run, you might not have any sales, which is why we advise you to sort of diversify. Just you have a little bit of established brands and new brands. So 80-20 to have the Pareto, the Pareto sort of mix. Okay, and so you avoid market saturation, you can stand out from your competition. You can develop your brand identity. You can choose products you are passionate about. You can become an expert for a product type. You can be at the forefront of new trends, really, when you really think about it. So overall, this is kind of cool. Now, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about how to do dropshipping with multiple suppliers. Okay, this is important. Now, another question that you might be thinking as you are you are exploring your options: should all your suppliers be domestic and based in the US? Not necessarily. The thing is that you got to think about cost, but also you have to think about other factors like customer satisfaction, right? Shipping, right? Your target audience. What are their demographics? What do they care about? Those are important elements you need to think about. Because see, if you actually dropship from the US, the advantages is that people get their stuff real fast. Okay, you don't have to wait or whatever. They get their stuff real fast. But if you actually choose something else, like from China, for example, you might have significantly longer lead times for shipping. Products that are usually like product that can be of an inferior quality in some cases. Certain items might be toxic and subject to recalls. Brands and products that are fake or counterfeit, those are real problems. Ineffective communication with the overseas suppliers, customer service that's inadequate and inefficient, return and refund policies that are incomprehensible, unsatisfactory and subpar user experience, and lack of systematic control over product quality. So you can see that it's problematic. You really have to accept that. If you're comfortable with that, then go ahead and do it. Now, let me give you a few pro tips, okay? A few pro tips that will help you actually dropship from multiple suppliers, because this is basically the gist of today's conversation, right? So if you want to dropship from multiple suppliers, you need to find your niche and research your products, okay? It's important to have a clear idea about what the kind of niche that you are interested in. Don't choose niches because of just the popularity. No, there has to be a real demand, but also there has to be what we call sustainability and scalability potential. In other words, you have to look at the niche and say, okay, 1 year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now, where would this niche be? Okay, so really important. So once you find your niche, there are a lot of ways, there are a lot of tools out there that can help you. You have Camel, you have Google Trends, you have Keep Out, you have Salehoop Market Research Lab, you have Seller App, you have Unicorn Smasher, you have Watch Count. You have a lot of places, a lot of tools that can help you, okay? And basically, you want to decide how many stores you want to operate. This is really important. I mean, you can say, you know what, I want to have maybe just one Shopify, or I want to have a Shopify store, a WooCommerce store, a BigCommerce store, a Big Cartel store. I want to have a Wix store. It really depends on your resources. Okay, there's a decision you have to make and a decision you have to live with. So, for example, you can build one big dropshipping store with a wide variety of products and niches, a single dropshipping store within a specific niche with fewer products, multiple smaller stores with narrower, more focused product selections, and one big store augmented by multiple smaller stores in various niches. Number 3, you need to choose the right suppliers, okay? And it's important to really think about quality, think about the pricing, think about the branding capabilities, and think about the shipping. Those are really important. So ultimately, working with the right supplier can be the difference between success and failure for you as a dropshipping merchant. Remember, dropshipping is a long-term game. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you don't just you're not going to succeed. Very rarely are you going to succeed like within the first 3 months. You are going to go through trials and errors. You're going to suffer a little bit. Okay, you'll be pissed, you'll be frustrated, you'll be you will feel a lot of stuff. But in the end, I guarantee you it is totally worth it. But you got to go through that phase though to learn how the process works. What you need to do next is you need to ask your supplier the right questions, right? We have to talk about things like product image, product title, weight, dimensions, ingredients, certifications, if something is organic or vegan. Like those things are really important, okay? And you want to have a clear idea about how to communicate with your dropshippers, like your supplier. For example, you want to ask them about like product data. Okay, they have to actually ask you. They have to answer you in terms of how to send over product data. Okay, like where should you send orders once you get them? Okay, like how do you handle customer service, tracking returns, exchanges, cancellations? Those are important elements because they tell you more about the DNA of your supplier. You want to ask questions so you can find the right supplier. Okay, and you always want to communicate with your suppliers. Please keep the communications channels open because you never know. Because see, this is your reputation. Okay, this is your reputation. It's really important to remember that. And one thing I also want to say here is that it's all about understanding that you are both in this together. Okay, if your supplier communicates pretty well, it's great for both parties. Okay, and they have to understand that. So when it comes to e-commerce and dropshipping with multiple suppliers, boss, communication is key. Ideally, you should have several communication channels for your customers. Consequently, you should do the same with your when it comes to multiple suppliers. So always you want to always keep in contact with your suppliers by interfacing with the sales representatives and let them know that you need something, whatever. And and they have to be responsive. It's not about just keeping the communication channel open. You want to make sure that there is responsiveness. They're not like getting back to you after 3 days or whatever. No. They have to get back to you right away. Okay, so you not right away. I mean, you're not like you can wait, but there's something called reasonableness. So if they get back to you within a few hours, that's fine. But if they get back to you within a few days, then there's a red flag right there. And don't let it go all the way to the situation where it has reached a critical point where you can't go back anymore. Okay, so it's one of those things you got to be really careful here. You have to be really careful and make sure that you are comfortable with how they actually process the whole transaction, how they responded to you, the words they used to kind of explain things to you. Pay attention to those things. Very important. And I also want to tell you to use a data synchronization app. And basically, you are able to have an app that helps you coordinate inventory levels, product availability, and the number of orders. And you need that because if you drop shipping with multiple suppliers, then you're going to have to need some kind of automatic tool to kind of help you out. Now, some suppliers, mind you, may offer a dashboard or admin page for your account, which basically allows you to easily see product levels, tracking info, and inventory availability. That's kind of cool. However, as you might imagine, it's most efficient if you work with one centralized dashboard to track all information from multiple suppliers. So this condensed form of inventory management is more effective and time efficient. Okay, and so if you can get your hands on this kind of centralized tool, also known as data synchronization app, then it truly makes dropshipping from multiple suppliers seamless. You need to get that. Okay, and so you have a lot of tools. You have Salsify, for example. You have Ecom Dash. You have Sellbrite. You have a Sync Spider. You have an API Drop. You have Syncy. Okay, and all of those apps handle tracking information, so you're able to track everything in real time. You know exactly what's happening, and you have a clear idea of what you should really focus your energy on. Okay, and the next thing I want you to really think about is to integrate shipping from multiple suppliers using an app. Again, we are going back to using apps to sync everything. And this is important because a big challenge for retailers working with multiple suppliers is when customers purchase items that get shipped from more than one supplier. Of course, when they're actually making the purchase, the shopper doesn't know this is happening. In the past, this often resulted in actually customers receiving deliveries on different dates, sometimes weeks or even months apart. So the issue is easily solved by using apps that focus exclusively on consolidated shipping orders. Okay, this is kind of cool. And you want to send separate tracking codes to customer, not one. You want to send separate. That way, you are able to provide clarity and transparency. Okay, and so one of the easiest ways to let your customers know that their packages may be arriving at different times is to provide them with separate tracking information, so they know. They see the expectation is already set right then and there. Okay, very important. And the last thing I want you to do here is to automate your store whenever possible. Everything from pricing strategy to product research to order tracking to inventory syncing to email marketing to order forwarding to product addition. Try to outsource, try to automate the thing. Okay, very important. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to do drop shipping with multiple suppliers. So we covered a lot of stuff. I give you an overview, and I spoke to you. I give you a few pro tips in terms of helping you automate everything and make sure that you are getting the best bang for your buck. Thank you for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.